because it's a dolphin. Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. Hi, hello, how are you? How's your week been? Why does my voice sound like so deep today? I'm so excited for this week's video. I planned this video 2.5 months ago. I have just been waiting and waiting to film this video because I am so excited for the books for this video, which also means that there is a very large potential for this to go very wrong. But of course, first, we've got some book mail. If I can. Well, here's the first book in here. The Christmas Carol. I've been wanting to read this book for a while. Ooh, I forgot I ordered this one. I am going to be reading Wattpad books that have been published for a week. I know like books on Wattpad are technically like published because that's what it calls them on the app. But when I say published, I mean like they have been like picked up and are like physically bound and like are now for sale like as a retail book. I was a huge Wattpad girly. Is that a little bit embarrassing to say? Probably. But like from 6th grade to like a year ago, I read like strictly on Wattpad. But anyways, that's what I'm reading this weekend. I'm so excited. But here we go. Here is the first one. We have The Last She. I was basically just going off of what Wattpad books were for sale on Book Outlet. But this one, from what I'm understanding, the female main character, like some epidemic happened and she is like the last female alive. Obviously, like The Last She, that feels like kind of a giveaway. But then she like runs into this like a gang of guys. Of course, the main guy like falls in love with her. So now he has to protect her because she's like the most wanted person alive. So this is by H.J. Nelson. I'm gonna save the one I'm most excited for last. So here we have Float by Kate Marchant, which I feel like a lot of people know about because this has hit like booktube and booktok a little bit. I think Haley Pham read this book. I actually don't know what this is about. I think this was the book that inspired this video. And the cover's so cute, you know? And we have the one that I am the most excited about. Now, I have already read this book before. I read this book when it was on Wattpad. It's now like a paid story on there. So like you actually have to pay money to read it on Wattpad now. So when I saw that I could have a copy of it, I was like, sure. I remember really enjoying this book. I mean, I'm gonna be honest, I can't really say what this book is about because I have already read it, so I like know more than like what's on the back. So we have Gaslight by Rachel Rose. But like she and her mom move really far away for a reason I can't say because it's not on the back. And then obviously she gets into fighting, and I'm sure you can probably take a guess as to what happens when she starts fighting. I guess I might as well start with this one since this is the one I showed you first. This book has there's a sequel to this book? Last She series. So is there gonna be more than 2? It's 330 pages. Let's get to reading. I'm on page like 145 out of, I think I said like 330. And the guy who gave me such bad vibes from the beginning, he doesn't give me such bad vibes anymore. It's not as predictable as I thought it was gonna be. I updated another video I'm filming right now, like a little less than an hour ago. It was like, I'm not gonna read that much because it's like 11:15. I'm like tired, but now I'm like Like, how am I supposed to put that down and not read anymore until tomorrow? I'm less than halfway through, so there's still plenty of time for everything to go wrong. I'm currently filming another video that's like, this video stops when I read a 5-star book, and I'm like, is that video gonna be done after 2 books? Last I updated on Goodreads, I was like 41% through the last She. First off, it is a dual POV book, which I have not yet read any physically bound dual POV books, and so when I saw that, I got super excited. So like I said, I'm on page like 150 or something like that. Basically, yesterday I went to, we had a football game, which don't even ask me about because it went terribly. But I think my brain was so fried from the game yesterday. So I think my brain got a little fried and I was a little delirious because I was so exhausted that I was like reading the book and I came to a plot twist that I really didn't see coming. So it really got me there. It was really, I did not expect the book to go in that direction. But like in my like delirious state, it really like shook me to my core and I was just like speechless. I was recording a clip for a different video and like the amount of pauses I have in that clip because I just like couldn't find the words to describe what I was feeling, and I was just flabbergasted, and I like had to take a minute and like stare at the ceiling for a little bit. And then I woke up this morning and I thought about the plot twist, and I'm like, I don't think that plot twist warranted that reaction out of me. I finished the last She. I have many questions, and I know that it at least has, there's at least one other book in this series. I'm giving it a 4 stars. I am currently not as like awestruck by the book now as I was last night. There was only one time when the book like directly stated the plot line that I thought it was mainly gonna go in, which was a lot less than I was anticipating, to be honest. The plot twist that I was so like flabbergasted by last night introduced us to a new character, and that new character got on my nerves so bad. Like, just any mention of that character, I just wanted to punt them. There are extenuating circumstances surrounding this particular character that should have made me like them a little bit more, but I just didn't. It was so annoying. And it wasn't like meant to be that annoying. And now that I'm thinking about it, there were a couple things that were like mentioned in this book that like clearly were mentioned to like get you to want to read the second one. And now that I've like finished the book and I know like everything that's like mentioned in the first one, there was some things that were introduced that was just like, I don't know why you put that in there. Will I read the sequel? Not at this moment. This is not one of those things where I'm like, I have to get my hands on the sequel. Honestly, might just try to go find it on Wattpad. Alrighty, I'm gonna go to bed and I'm gonna start Float by Kate Marchant in the morning. Okay, I don't know what was going on with me earlier, but I am now enjoying this book much more. I don't know why it took me like 3 hours to read 30 pages, but then I read for another 40 minutes and read 70 pages. So I think I'm enjoying it a lot more now. It's a really easy read. The page numbers are kind of throwing me off though. I don't know if you can see that, but like look how similar the 1 and the 7 look. Anyways, that's my only beef with the book right now, but I'm really enjoying it now. It's super cute. So next time I'm gonna read for probably another half hour at least and then go to bed. So, and then I'm hopefully gonna be able to finish it tomorrow. I don't know what I last said about this book, but I'm over halfway through now. And I'm really liking it. It's super cute. And I'm really loving the relationship between Waverly and Blake. But also, I find it funny because like at the beginning of the book, she's like, I'm here for the whole summer. But then like goes on to specify she's only there for 28 days, which is like half of the summer. So I just find it funny that she's like, I'm here for the whole summer. And that her aunt like made her get a job when she's only gonna be there for 28 days. Like, what place would hire you for only 4 weeks? And like, I will say it's super cute. Like, just focusing on like the relationship between Waverly and Blake is super cute. But she has since the beginning like mentioned like problems with her parents, yet I'm now over halfway through and like her parents have hardly been mentioned at all. I'm hoping by the time I get to the end of this book, I'm gonna know what's up with her parents. It's Wednesday. Last night, I finished Float by Kate Marchant. I am still a little torn on what I'm gonna rate this book. I thought it was super cute. Did think that it moved a little too fast. It was a bit insta-lovey for me. I do think that they did develop their relationship, but it was still a bit insta-lovey, you know, because the total amount of time that the female main character was in Florida was like 28 days, so like 4 weeks. But let me just tell you that that's a really fast. And then the ending personally wasn't my favorite. Like the last like 2 pages of the book I think needed to be a lot longer. I'm torn between like a 3.75 and a 3. No. A 3.75 and a 4. I'm not sure what I'm gonna rate it. Maybe I'll have a rating by the time I finish Gaslight, which is the one I started it last night, but I only read 1 chapter. Okay, now don't get me wrong, I am enjoying this book. I am now really flying through it, but I just have to say there are a couple of things that are in this book where I'm just like, did anybody else besides the author like read this book before like they published copies of it? Because like just like time consistencies, and it's like, oh, like in 3 days I'm gonna do something, and then that day comes and it's like, oh, when did you say you were gonna do this? Oh, yesterday. It's like, you just said in 3 days. Like, that's not. And now like they're at prom, but she says they just announced homecoming king and queen. And then like she left the gym and was like, I will see you on Wednesday. But then she goes back the next day and is like talking about the session she had the day before. I'm like, if it was gonna be the next day, why didn't you just say the next day? Tomorrow. Why did you say Wednesday? Like, nobody does that. Like, who proofed this book is really my question. Okay guys, I did it. I finished Gaslight. I could definitely tell more towards the end of the book that this was written someone from Europe, but it takes place in America. Just because there was something in the last like 20 pages where I was like, okay, yeah, that is something that someone from Europe would say. I remember when I was really into my Wattpad phase that most of the books I was reading were written by people from the UK, but they took place in America. I don't know why. Can somebody in the comments explain to me why people in the UK have such a fascination with like writing books that take place in America? Because I would love to read a book written by someone from the UK that takes place in the UK. I wish I had known that there are 2 different versions of the Good Girl's Guide to Murder trilogy, because I would have loved to originally read the one that takes place in the UK, which is where Holly Jackson is from. But I didn't know that until way later after I'd read the trilogy. So my thoughts on Gaslight. I'm gonna be honest, I did not love it as much as I was anticipating enjoying it. I really enjoyed it, but honestly, the first part of the book felt like it flew by, like in not a good way. Like the whole first part of the book just felt like it was like missing pieces. The second half of the book felt really like adequately paced. So like the difference between Gaslight and Float, I think is like 60 pages. It's a difference of 60 pages in these 2 books, and I feel like you really felt that like lack of pages in Gaslight. That was just really unfortunate. And I think at the beginning I said this was a romance book. I don't know what I would describe it as, but I definitely don't think that this is a romance book. And if it is being advertised as a romance book, I think that is incorrect. I guess it would be a little bit more of a literary fiction with a very strong subplot of romance, because like really the main focus of this book is on, what's her name, Maddie, and the things that she's going through in her life separate from the whole love interest and stuff. And like for a majority of the book, like the love interest just kind of like pops up here and there, and like the focus isn't on him. So I guess I would describe this more as literary fiction. There we have it. I read Wattpad books that have been published for a week. I'm giving this a 3.75 stars. So I think like my rankings on this book, it'd be Gaslight last, and then The Last She, and then Float. I don't know, Float was just so cute, and I feel like you really got to have a lot of like build up, like the main characters really got to know each other well, which is something that I feel like some romance books lack a lot of the times. While the ending was a little underwhelming, take away from the ending, I really enjoyed this book. And then this one really surprised me, because the one that I originally wanted to buy wasn't available on Book Outlet anymore. So I was just like scrolling through published Wattpad books on there, and this one caught my eye the most. I didn't really have any expectations going into this book, which I feel like was a good thing, because I went in with too high of expectations on this book, and then I was a bit sad. But this one I didn't have any expectations and was pleasantly surprised. Anyways, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this video of me reading published Wattpad books for a week, getting back into my Wattpad girl roots. If you guys enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you're feeling up to it. Hope you all have a fantastic week, and I will see you next Saturday. Bye.